I'm sure. Can you hear me? He can hear me now, I think. There we go. Let me just find this. Don't know what's going on. I've been having the biggest PC issues tonight. So I think you should be able to hear everything now. There we go. Why is that? It's not letting
Just said, can
yours.
you not letting mine in?
Ah, there we go. Now I think yours is in. Everyone's is in.
All right.
All right. So back to it. How are you? How you doing?
Yeah, good. Apart from some crazy results. There goes my
It
tips,
is.
man.
I know the tips are gone. The only one I got is because I think they're actually playing real good. Is I went for Everton over Chelsea at home, and we got that. So
Okay.
that's in. But yeah, sorry guys, if we do have some cutouts or anything tonight, it's some crazy weather here where we are. So there could be some cutouts, there could be anything. I don't know. So we apologize for it in advance, but we'll get into it. I think Rob's cutting out a bit as we speak, but man, I think it's cutting out bad. I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
He is doing a con. It's cut out bad. I don't know what happened then. It cut out really bad,
Oh,
but uh,
John's not here.
John is not here. But Rob is back now. He's come back in, but um, yeah. Like we said, we'll apologize in advance, guys, if anything like that happens. But yeah, there's is some crazy weather here. But what it'll take us into, we'll get straight into it. We'll bring up the results. I've got both match week results here, so I'll bring them up. Bang. So we got the ones that first started out there. We're obviously not. We're not going to go over every game because we'll be here all night. But Arsenal
Mm.
got late winner against Luton, which was, they obviously had Arsenal and Man City in a couple of days, and they did well against both. To be honest,
Yeah, they did it.
United, yeah, they did. United got the result against Chelsea. The big one we're going to talk about is Aston Villa knock off City and Arsenal. They got the win there. Liverpool got the win that you think they'd get 2-0 against Sheffield United. Fulham scored 5 in 2 consecutive games. The first one against Nottingham
Nice.
Forest, and then against,
Incredible.
crazy, and then against West Ham. Palace got done at home by Bournemouth, who then went to Old Trafford and won as well, which we're going to talk about. Spurs lost to West Ham after leading again. I think that's the 4th or 5th game they've been winning in, and they've
Yep.
lost.
Yep.
Everton, man, smashed Newcastle. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And then Newcastle got smashed by Spurs after they had getting all the plaudits for beating Man United. They got spanked, conceded 7 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, they
City
did.
got back onto it finally against Luton. Luton have had some really good results against some of the big clubs, but yeah, Everton beat Chelsea. Then United, like we said, lost at home. But let's start. Let's start with the first one that's close to Rob. Aston Villa get the chocolates against Man City. Rob 1-0, and they played well.
Now, all right, the basic stats. I mean, Unai Emery's game plan. Aston Villa 22 shots.
22 shots,
Man City had 2.
and I think it was similar in the Villa Arsenal game too. To be honest.
It's just. But Pep played 4 centre backs, and he left 2 defensive midfielders on the bench.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it
He's
was I messaged you. I think I was saying it to my dad. I saw he had
he's
Akanji and all that in the midfield, and I'm like,
McCarthy,
play a
Akanji,
midfielder,
Stones,
play a midfielder. Yeah, play a midfielder.
Kovacic, and Calvin Phillips. I'm pretty sure were keen to prove their worth, and he put
Yeah,
Stones and Akanji,
yeah,
and Akanji's the quickest defender.
yeah. That's right. Exactly,
So he puts him midfield.
exactly. Yeah, it was a weird decision by Pep to go with all those centre backs, but
Oh, I reckon he's lost it. He really has because he keeps playing Foden and Foden crosses goal. He's, he's just too greedy. I'm never going to like that player.
Rob was cutting out a bit there, guys. But I'm from what I got from it, he said he thinks Pep's lost the plot. I got that out of it. So.
Uh, absolutely lost the plot.
There you go. He's absolutely lost the plot. But I mean, Villa, they they did get the win, which we can probably talk about both. They ended up getting the win against Arsenal as well. When you knock off
Yeah,
the champions and the so-called champions elect, both in, I mean, they were both at Villa Park, to be fair, but they still knocked them both off within 4 days of each other.
clean sheets.
Yeah, clean sheets. You're putting yourself in as a champions elect, aren't you, with those sort of results?
I'm still willing to bet that Aston Villa don't I win the Premier League only
I
because
agree, but I'm saying they're putting their
it's
name out there, aren't they?
absolutely, absolutely, and you know those are two big wins, and
Huge, huge.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a list: Aston Villa, Bournemouth, uh, Everton, West Ham, even Girona in Spain, Man United against Chelsea. All of those clubs had less shots in that game,
That's right.
less possession, less passing accuracy, but they got more goals.
There
Five
you go.
games.
Yeah, I think what may bite Villa is their squad depth, but mate, if he can keep his players fit, he's showing as a great coach. Tell you what, they're one to watch out. I think one of the biggest beneficiaries of those two results is Liverpool.
Absolutely.
Liverpool have got to be
Absolutely.
rubbing their hands together for that. So, you know, they got to be loving that. They're they had I think they got Allison back now, and they're getting their squad back. They're just getting through the results,
Yeah.
sort of going under the radar a little bit. But yeah, Aston Villa really looking the good. So that can bring us on to, we can talk about them. Bournemouth in the week, they went away to Palace and won 2-0. And then they went to a place that, I mean, it's for 10 years ago, there was a lot of teams that had never won at Old Trafford, but it's becoming a bit more of a common thing now. They went to Old Trafford and won 3-0, which never done that in their history. I don't think they'd beaten Man United many times in their history at all. So,
And a fourth disallowed, man.
and it shouldn't have been disallowed. I'm a United fan. I'm saying it should have been 4-0. It should have been 4-0.
And seriously, and can I just? I want to pick on the goalkeepers, Onana, and I watched Maguire. He's seriously rubbish. I
He's
was better at
rubbish.
18 than him. I
He's
have no
rubbish.
doubt about that. But
He's
the
rubbish.
amount of goalkeepers that are staying rooted to their line when there's a soft cross coming over on the
I know.
6 yard line,
Go take
what's
out five people and get. Yeah, I know.
three steps, mate, and you're there,
I know.
and
And
they're
the thing
not
is,
doing it.
what a keeper like us. I'm no keeper, but I've been there, seeing keepers trained. I've trained with them because I'm a striker. A keepers are told, I don't care if there's a brick wall there. Put your knee up, put your elbow out, and take out
Yep,
whoever's in the way. It doesn't matter if it's your
yep,
player, their player. They get taught that just like we get taught. If in doubt, kick it out. Like, it's one
yep,
of the most common things they teach a keeper.
yep.
It doesn't matter who's there. If he's your teammate, your captain, whatever, take him out. And yeah, I don't know. And listen, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch him every week when he was at Inter or Ajax. He came with a good reputation, but as we know, we've spoken about it, that position at Old Trafford is a very scrutinised position, and it's not for the faint-hearted. That's why you looked at some of the keepers that have done well have been greats, all-time greats like Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar, even De Gea. Like,
Mm.
these guys have been greats, not just greats for the club, like they've been all-time greats. And we've seen big names fail, like one of our own. He was one of the best keepers I've ever seen, and he failed there, Mark Bosnich. So
Yeah,
Fabian Barthez, World Cup winner, failed. Like, it's a very scrutinised position. But that on top of that, that's no excuse. It should have been 4-0. I keep saying it is 4-0. They went and get this good result against Chelsea. I don't know
great
what it
result.
is. Yeah, great result. I don't know what it is with the United players. It's like they put it on one week and then they down tools the week after. It's all this stuff behind the scenes is definitely getting to them. You can tell all this stuff's getting to them, but
Yeah, Yeah.
Again, I think Ten Hag, listen, I'm backing him, but there's some things that have got to be answered by him. Like you said, picking Maguire, if Varane's fit enough to go on the bench, why aren't you picking him, mate? Like, if there's a falling out, come out and be honest. Say, yep.
Yep.
He said something to me at training. He told me to get effed or whatever. That's why I'm not picking him. Because what it seems on face value is that you think Maguire's a better player than him. And if you think that, you shouldn't be in the job.
Tonic better than Casemiro. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So come out and be honest. Tell us what it is. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's, and you know what? I think the recruitment at Old Trafford really has to be looked at, Rob. Like Anthony, oh my God, he's speaking about it with John today. Mate, how someone could be so one-footed and just be, he's terrible. Like,
you saw him, he had this massive gap on the right, inside the box to shoot, and he cut back into trouble against 3 defenders on his left.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Him and Almiron go to the same school, mate.
I know. But the thing is, at least Almiron is scoring goals. So he can turn around and say, yeah, I'm getting numbers. Anthony doesn't even get numbers. You know what I mean? That's the bad part. No. So...
But I don't know what some of these coaches, on that Man United-Chelsea game, Pochettino played a left back, Cucurella on the right fullback.
And he got creamed. Yeah,
what are they doing?
Yeah,
seriously, what are they doing playing these players out of position?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I still think the referee, I'm going to go back to one game, Crystal Palace-Liverpool, the referee cost Crystal Palace that game.
Yeah, I agree.
He was absolutely shocking.
Yeah, I agree. We'll get onto that when we talk about Liverpool in a second. But we will talk about what Chris just brought up, because Chris said that goal that West Ham scored made me sick. So I'm guessing he's talking about the winner against Tottenham. But we'll talk about it. I'll bring up the results. So Tottenham, obviously they were winning against West Ham, and then they lost, which I think was the 4th or 5th game they've been winning this year and haven't got the points. But then, on the other hand, 3 days later, they absolutely spanked Newcastle. So, but yeah, I agree with Chris. That goal, if I was Ange watching that, how it went in, that would have made me sick too.
Remind me again.
Well, Bowen went through a few of them and he had a shot and it took a deflection. The keeper stopped it, and then James Ward, none of the Tottenham defenders went, follow up, and then James Ward-Prowse just followed up, took it.
Oh, that's right, against the post.
Yeah, so it hit the post, came back to him, and he scored the follow-up. Yeah, bad defence, Chris is saying, absolutely.
I'm putting my hand up to go to England and be a defensive coach, because these defenders are, generally speaking, across the board, are seriously, seriously bad.
But surely they get told to follow up, Rob. Surely they get told to follow up, like a striker does.
No, they never do. So as soon as you shoot, they just turn to see what happens.
Yeah.
They don't actually run and follow up.
And you see,
which is why you as a striker, you're getting there first.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, I was going to say that is something that makes a bad striker, and that's something that makes a bad defender, when they turn and don't react. The best strikers, who I can think of guys that did it, like Edinson Cavani used to do it. The minute someone shot, he just ran. He didn't care if it was going in. He ran to follow up. And defenders should be doing that too. That's
Well, 100%. Yeah. And I learned this as a junior, saying, hang on, why am I not following up? And I reckon I was 12.
Yeah.
I said, if it was me, I want to get there first, and the goalkeeper, anything can happen. So I learned to, as soon as the shot was on, I turned and sprinted towards goal.
That's right. That's what we do as strikers. Exactly.
And I got there, I got there quite a few times to clear the ball.
You're not going to get there all the time, but you could.
No.
What a defender could have got there and maybe got to the line and made it harder for James Ward-Prowse to score. He might have been on the line as the last man or something.
But the whole set piece defending, they've got no idea. If the ball's going over your head, you drop back onto the line.
Yeah, of course.
No, they don't do it. They stand.
I know they don't. They don't do it. Yeah. There is a lot of ball watching going on with the professional defenders. Absolutely.
Yep. And it's costing the teams games.
Oh, definitely.
Goals.
Definitely. But that takes us on to the next game. They come back and absolutely spank Newcastle. And like you said, Trippier, in one of the games, he got minced by the Everton player, and then
Yeah.
they've been going on about him, how good he is, and he get absolutely minced. And then they got smacked by Tottenham, to be fair. So 7 goals in 2
And
games.
Min Son just turned Trippier inside out.
Oh,
This is the thing. Him, Trent, any attacking fullback, they're not defenders, and the coaches shouldn't have any complaints when they buy them, because I'll put Kyle Walker in the same boat. Every second penalty we concede, it's Kyle Walker.
And you know what? You know what the thing is? I actually think out of all of them, out of all those English ones, Kyle Walker and Reece James are probably the best actual defenders. They're better defenders than Trent. You know, they're like, Trent can't defend at all. He's unbelievable.
No.
But listen, I understand he's very good attacking, but make him a right midfielder or something. Don't give him that, you know, like. But yeah, it's great result for Tottenham in the end to come back and spank Newcastle, because after they pretty much, I mean, it was only 1-0, but they spanked Man United. It would look like Newcastle would get it going. But then when you look at it and you think he had to select the same team probably 3 times in 10 days.
Yep.
What's going to happen? You know, they're going to run out of legs, aren't they? So.
And this is what I think is going to happen. Is Europe this week?
Yep. So we got Bayern Munich, and they've got Milan maybe at St. James Park.
And that's a tough. That group is so close.
Oh yeah. See, the thing is, last week they were all saying, "Oh, we were favourites to beat Milan," but I tell you what, after this week, they're not going to be thinking they're favourites to beat Milan.
No, look, that I'm a gambling man, a betting man on these games, but there's no way that game could go any which way.
Of course. Because could you imagine? Let's say Rafael Leao, he gets going against that defense, he could tear them to shreds. So that's interesting. You know, like we said, United, Bayern Munich, that's a huge game for them as well. But yeah,
Bayern just got thumped 5-1.
They did by was it Frankfurt?
I tracked Frankfurt. Yeah,
I think it was Frankfurt. Yeah, so
my mate Mario Götze, man, it's in the midfield.
He's always been a good player. You know what's so funny?
Little German pulls goals without
he's great little player, Goetze. You know, I think he won it all too early, and it sort of derailed him a bit, you know, like scoring a World Cup winner at 19 or whatever it was. So but it's funny. I was looking at it. They said Harry Kane went there to win trophies. His first game, they lost in the German Super Cup 3-0. They got knocked out of the DFB Cup, so they're out of the German Cup.
Yeah.
Can they win the Champions League? I don't know. And they're second in Germany. So,
4 points. 4 points off the pace now.
He could go there and he could score 60 goals, but if they don't win anything, it's going to be the same as at Tottenham, won't it? You score goals and don't win nothing. So
yeah.
So
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see with them, because seriously, the Bayern defense, it's the midfield and forwards that are getting the goals, because the defense are just useless.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Well, it'd be so funny if Ange goes and wins something and then Harry Kane doesn't. I know it's like, I don't like laugh, but it would be so funny. Like, how could you not laugh at it?
I reckon he wants an FA Cup final win. And
yeah, I reckon. Because, you know, the FA Cup thing is big to the Australians, isn't it? The FA Cup was always big to us. So,
it is huge.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. Chris says it's good to see them bounce back against Newcastle. I agree. It was good, because I'm not the biggest fan of Newcastle. So, you know.
I mean, all credit to Eddie Howe. He's got some injuries as well. But
he does. Him, Tottenham, Man United have got some serious injuries, those 3 teams.
Because he hasn't even got Nick Pope either in goal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he did his shoulder against United. I saw him dislocate it. So that could be 3 months. But it's the injuries with these squads, especially now they lost Tonali. Tonali's suspended for the gambling thing.
Yeah.
On top of it, surely he's going to
7 months, isn't it?
I think so. So. Yeah. So surely he's going to try. He's going to try buy something in the January transfer window. You'd imagine they'll let him do that, but
it's going to have to.
He will. He'll have to. You know what? They're all getting on Ange's case. And then he went out and he spanked Newcastle. And I was thinking, you know what? I was thinking of the English media getting on his case because an Australian is better than all the English managers. Well, you tell me, besides Eddie Howe, what manager is as good as Ange? I don't think Eddie. What's Eddie Howe won? He's never won anything.
No.
At least Ange has won trophies, and he's.
And look, even Arteta, seriously.
But he's not English. I'm talking about the
reckon-
English managers. You know, the English managers who
the
they don't have any. They don't have
No.
anyone.
no.
You know, and I think they're a bit upset that there's an Australian there that's better than them at their game.
Ange has won more than Gareth Southgate, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100% he has. He's won a trophy with his country. Southgate have done that. So, but yeah, in saying that, I'll bring up the next ones. We can talk about them. So Liverpool, they got 2 wins over the
Yeah. And
two games. They beat
really
Sheffield United. Exactly, they beat Sheffield United 2-0. But then, as you touched on, a bit of an iffy one against Palace. But in the end, they've got the points, don't they? But yeah, it was a bit iffy, wasn't it?
It was. Look, I just thought the referee got something. So there's some horrible decisions they got wrong. A penalty decision. I think there was an elbow. Clear
Yes, the
foul that was
elbow,
allowed
yeah.
to go on.
See
Just
that one when
they're not
that
even
Will
trying,
Hughes,
KP. They're not even trying these
oh, I agree.
referees.
When Will Hughes tackled Endo, do you think that was a foul? The one that they disallowed, because it went on and they gave a penalty to Palace and then they called it back saying it was a foul in the build-up. Man, I don't think he barely touched him. I think Endo was having a mare of a game and he just dropped like it was. So Palace should have had a penalty there to begin with. I believe. I listen. I'm for cheating and that, but I don't think he fouled him. I think Endo was soft and he was having a real bad game, and Will Hughes had just pressed him and he fell like he flopped.
And that game showed the best of VAR and the worst of VAR in the one spot.
Yeah,
Because Crystal Palace, he waited on the penalty. The only reason he did that is because Crystal Palace was a low-ranked team.
yeah,
Low-ranked teams on these things, right? VAR said, hang on, mate. Look at it. Oh, it's a penalty. Yeah, you should have seen that.
yeah. What I don't get
And
is
then
that one.
I would say this other one.
Yeah, what I don't get about the VAR is even that one that I was talking about. They sent him to the screen, and he looked at the decision on the foul on Endo for about 2 minutes. If he couldn't decide in 10 seconds if it's a foul, it's not a foul. That's my opinion. Because when you know when someone fouls someone instantly, if you see it on TV, if he had to look at it for 2 minutes, I'm sorry, that's not a foul. There should be like a statute of limitations, like on the time or something. I don't know, but do you think the refereeing is? Me and John were saying we think it's the worst we've seen.
This is the one where they said 5 minutes of game time later, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why I just
Well,
you can't 1, 2 replays. You can't pick it then. And that's it.
That's right. See, the question I ask you is because you're a qualified ref, right? You're a coach. You've played. The way I put it to you is, me and John were saying we think it's the worst we've seen the refereeing this year. Is it the worst? Because do you think they're under more pressure because of VAR? Is that what it is? Is it, or is it just?
It's almost the opposite.
There's got to be an accumulation of something.
I think it's a bit like it's less pressure because that's all right. If I don't get this right, VAR will help me out.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point.
So they're not focusing.
Yeah.
Because when I did my referees course, there was a FIFA referee running it. He was really sharp, and he said, you know what? When it comes to handball or bad tackles, watch the face of the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Because in a split second they give it away.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'd never forget that because you watch it and you can see the eyes drop, think, and then too late, mate. I saw it. I know exactly what you've done.
I remember Chris Trager said to me, it's always saying it to me. He goes, you see someone tackle someone and they go like this. He goes, when someone puts their hands up, he goes, they're guilty. He goes, and you watch every player that tackles someone and then they go like that. He goes, they're guilty. He goes, that's why they're putting their hands up. Oh, no, I haven't touched him. He goes, because that's what a criminal does. No, I haven't touched him. And you see him do it all the time. You see players tackle someone, they're like, no. They're guilty, mate. They're guilty. Like, you're guilty.
While his feet are laying into him.
Exactly. He's kicking him. Oh, no. Kicking him. So, yeah, I think you make a good point that maybe they're not being as diligent because they think, oh, VAR is going to bail me out, whatever, Like, but there is a reason. There has to be a reason that they got to get to that as why the officiating is so bad, because it's bit, oh, mate, and it's funny. You think it should get better as every year progresses, but it's terrible this year. It's terrible.
Yeah,
And
it
then
is.
the thing is, no, go.
Well,
So you can say.
I just think it's time that they need to, what you touched on a few weeks back, they need to make a decision about VAR
Yeah,
and either change it to one call per half or
yeah, like the
just
cricket.
just
Yeah,
just the goal line technology is fine. That works
that's
perfectly
fine
well.
because that's yes or no.
Penalties, let it go. Offsides, let it go. Maybe red card decisions,
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
but that's it.
They like they have to get to the bottom of it because
Yeah,
it's gotten to a point where it's sucking the joy out the game, all of it. Like your team scored. I was thinking about the other day when Garnacho scored that scissor kick, right?
yeah,
I was thinking it's the first goal in about 2 years that I've celebrated without thinking, oh wait, is VAR going to do something here? Because it was such a huge goal. It was the first goal in about 2 years I've just cheered without caring about, oh, wait a second, is VAR going to do something here?
yeah.
Which that's taking the joy out. Yeah, which takes the joy out of our game, doesn't it?
It does. You can't celebrate that. It's not the same when you're winning. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the interesting thing as well to me is the way they officiate in England. It seems like these teams go play in Europe and it's completely different. The officiating, the Italian referees, whatever the Spanish referees, is completely different.
I watched a German game last week, and the VAR interpretation and application is just slightly different. Yes,
Yeah.
but
See, so,
I say slightly, but enough to know that's going to be a yellow card. That's not going to be looked at.
yeah,
That is going to be looked at.
yeah.
There's enough differences to think, now, hang on, I think maybe some of these countries have got it right, and maybe England haven't got it
See,
right.
but then the question that makes you ask is, shouldn't it just be a broad umbrella like
Yeah.
it's by FIFA and it's one way
Yeah.
and that's it?
Yeah.
They all go to a conference at the start of the year or something and say, this is it, this is how it is. That's it. The Premier League has got enough money to send their referees on a conference. So does the German League. So does the Serie A. You know what I mean?
Pierre Luigi Collina is the one in charge of the referees still. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know who's in charge.
Well, Howard Webb is in charge in England.
Yeah.
Howard Webb's in charge in England.
Where are these VAR people sitting? They're not in the.
No, they're
stadium,
at
aren't they?
no. It's at in London. What's it called? Stockley Park. It's like where we watch the shows. Where we watch the shows. They're in that
Yeah.
that hub.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't agree with that either, to be honest. But yeah, in saying that, Liverpool did get
One's
the two
having a
results.
smoke, the other one's VAR would be one's having coffee, one's having a smoke, the other one's doing his shoelaces up, and nobody sees it.
Well, that could have been, when we look back, whatever it is, a month ago, when that horrendous error happened in that Liverpool game. Are you telling me one of them wasn't having a smoke, one of them wasn't having a coffee, one of them wasn't texting someone? Like, it was that bad that something like that had to be happening. I don't care what they say.
Nobody saw it. Maybe they're all playing poker in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in saying that, Liverpool got the results. I think the two Villa results played in Liverpool's favour, but take us on to the next one, man. Fulham, 2 games, in the span of 4 days, they scored 10 goals, 5 in each game.
Just and one against, I think, a very tired West Ham.
Yeah, I agree.
And Fulham again, they didn't dominate the West Ham game.
Nah.
West Ham did.
Yeah.
So maybe these lesser teams, all due respect to all these teams with smaller squads, maybe they're learning to pick their moment and say, and I've done this as a coach especially, and as a player, saying we can't do what they do. We just need to wait be really
Yeah,
tight at the back and
pick
pick
him
our
off.
moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Jimenez is now scoring goals.
I was going to say it's
Uh,
really lovely to see him scoring goals, man. You know what he's
yeah,
been through. It's such a great story to see him score
yeah,
goals.
yeah. So, uh, is it Silva as the coach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Marco Silva. Yeah,
Marco Silva. He's yeah. Good luck to him. I pity the next team playing Fulham next week.
yeah, because they're going to be full of it, aren't they? Going to be full of confidence, ready to go. So
They're
yeah,
not,
I
and
agree. I agree.
they're not going to be scared of anybody
No,
because
I agree totally.
they dominated Notts Forest and they soaked up the pressure against West Ham. So they're both ways.
Yeah, they show they can play both ways. Alia says, "Hey, gentlemen." Hunky Food Dude says, "Hey, guys. How are you, boys? Hey, Alia, how you doing?" But yeah, two great results for them. We'll bring up who's another team. We talked about Spurs,
Can I
Everton.
talk about? Yeah, I want to talk about Luton in a minute.
Yeah,
Just
definitely. We'll talk
quickly.
about them definitely. But
Everton.
there's Everton 2 wins against Newcastle and Chelsea, clean sheets in both. I mean, they had a
And
10 point deduction, and I think they're gonna be safe, aren't they?
and that's what's motivated them, I think,
I agree. I agree.
because otherwise they'd be on 20. They'd be a ninth.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even against Man United, they had 29 shots, and we beat them, which maybe we shouldn't have, going by
Yeah,
the results that have gone on. They had 29
yeah,
shots against United and lost 3-0, which proved Sean Dyche has probably said, you know what, guys, let's go for it. Let's score goals.
yeah.
They're keeping clean sheets, 2 clean sheets. So
And maybe that's the. I mean, Calvert-Lewin is off. He's off performance. He's
yeah, I
not doing
agree.
well.
Yeah, he's not on.
But it's the other guys are stepping up.
Yeah.
So good luck to
Uh,
them.
Alia says there are no bad teams these days, and I tend to agree with that. The league is very competitive. It's such a competitive league. He said there are no bad teams except for Man United. Alia,
Man
please,
United
please.
is 6 points from the top, man. What are you talking
He's
about?
no. He's a Man U fan. That's why he knows. Yeah.
No,
Listen,
I know.
listen. There's a stat I was going to bring up about Man United. They lost at home to Bournemouth, and it was the third in Sir Alex's time in the Premier League. They lost 34 games at Old Trafford, which was 20, whatever it was, 27 years. In
Yeah,
27 years, they only lost 34 times in the Premier League at Old Trafford. On the
yeah.
weekend, since he's retired, that was the 35th game they've lost at Old Trafford.
Wow.
So in 10, 11 years since he's
Um,
retired, they've already lost more games at home in the league than he lost in his tenure. And that's insane. In the first 5 years, he was not doing that good either. So,
yeah. No,
but
he
listen,
he lost a few those first couple of years. Remember, he was
he did.
so close to getting
He did. And
the
he won the
sack.
FA Cup. That's right. So when you hear stats like that, you think, mate,
And
like
I'll give you one stat for all the other teams except Man City. Man City have held 4 clean sheets in the last 21 games.
really. Well,
Yep.
look at it against. I was looking at City. I want to talk about it with you. So 4-4 against Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
3-3 against Spurs.
Yeah.
And then they drew with Liverpool. Was it 1-1 or 2-2? So that's 4, 7, 8, 9 goals. And
9.
then
Yeah.
what they still conceded one the other night, didn't they?
Against Luton.
Um,
Luton were winning at half time.
yeah, so Luton, so another one there. So 10 goals
And
in
and Aston Villa, obviously.
and Aston Villa. So 11 goals in 4 games they conceded. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
You have this commanding goalkeeper, this commanding defender. And this is where Man United haven't got a commanding goalkeeper, they haven't got a commanding defender.
No.
Casemiro is that free backbone
Yeah.
instills fear 10 yards around you.
Yeah.
Your number of goals conceded drops.
Well, I really believe for Ten Hag. Listen, the way it's going, if you lose 3-0 at Old Trafford to Bournemouth, they got Liverpool next week, And in my opinion, he lost 7-0 last year at Anfield. In my opinion, if he gets done by 4+ at Anfield again, personally, I think you can't do that 2 years in a row. That's instant dismissal. I truly believe that. I don't think you can go to Liverpool 2 years in a row and concede that many goals. And I believe if he gets to Christmas, which, listen, I don't know if he will, Casemiro and Martinez coming back at the end of December is massive for him. He's missing them so much, it's not funny. And like we said, we talked about it. Me and John have talked about it. John is here now. He says Man U's depressing him. We don't know what's going on with Varane. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, mate, if you're falling out with him, don't. Well, the thing is, what I say is, if you've fallen out with him, don't even put him on the bench. Put a youngster on the bench.
And it's the same as Calvin Phillips at City.
Exactly. That way it's clear. We know. So
don't bother.
Yeah, exactly. Don't bother. And just say, well, I'm selling him. He's done. Like, whatever. But yeah, if he gets there, I think he's missing Casemiro and Martinez so bad. And
I saw the loose ball within the last third, centrally last third, defensive third of Man United. And a number of times, too many times, a lot of people would say, Harry Maguire was within 5-10 yards of that. He made no effort to win that ball back and intercept the attack like a warrior. He's like a scared mouse, mate.
Well, you know what's so funny you said that? I don't know if you remember Ashley Williams that used to play for Wales and Swansea and Everton, whatever. He goes on Rio Ferdinand's channel now, and he said, obviously, so he's an international centre-back, was a very good centre-back, actually. Like, Arsenal were chasing him at one stage. I think he's got almost 100 caps for Wales. He said, he goes, all these people giving him all this praise, he goes, I'm going to tell you something. He goes, watch him. He goes, he passes the ball to Onana. He goes, then he turns his back. He goes, he doesn't want it back.
Yeah.
He goes, he hides. He goes, and then they give him Player of the Month. And that's, coming from an international, he goes, I'm telling you, he does that. He goes, he does that. Like, so, but yeah, John says, I look forward, I'm pumped for every season. By October, I'm always done with the club. Yeah, there you go. So, listen, like I said, I think all that stuff at the top is really getting to the squad. You know, like, there's meant to be a takeover, and it's been lingering for over a year. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, but yeah, take us into a few more results.
Look, can I?
Go. Say what you were going to say. Yeah, say what you were going to say.
Luton may get out of jail here and survive because of two players. Charles Barkley? Barkley.
Alia says Luton's keeper is very good.
He's kept them in the game, but Barkley and they ran the midfield against City, and they ran the midfield pretty much against Arsenal. Those two, they're remotivated.
Yeah, well, they're experienced players, aren't they?
I think yes, they are. Barkley just weaved his way in and out. Should have had a goal. Who was it against? Man City, actually. It was unlucky.
The funniest thing about them is you look at their results, they only just lost to Arsenal. They pretty much only just lost to City. They lost 1-0 to Man United. So all these big clubs actually doing well against them. You know what I mean? John says, keep Bruno, Maino, Garnacho, and Højlund and sell the rest. Well, in saying that, I don't think you could sell Onana because he just bought him. Listen, Martinez isn't there. I don't think he has got any blame. You know, he bought him. I don't think you can have a go at Martinez. But I tell you what, I'm sort of with you. But yeah.
Luke Shaw accepted.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, I agree. Luke Shaw out of the previous bunch is probably the best one. The previous regime, I should say. But yeah, so Luton, I mean, they've had close games against the so-called big clubs, haven't they? So just watch them. I play them at your peril at the moment. I think they're gonna start winning some games that people thought they shouldn't. There you go. Yeah, no, I don't mind them. I like their coach too. I heard him talking before the City game, and they're going to him, you're going to go out with the same way you went out against Arsenal, and he goes, well, I'm not. He goes, because Arsenal and Man City play two different ways. He goes, so I've got to tweak things. So, he knows what he's talking about, which is good.
Yeah.
Or he's a good actor, pretending he knows what he talks about. But no, he's definitely, speaks it. But yeah, that who I was going to talk about next anyway. So yeah, Luton is the last one. They only lose by 1 goal, score 3 against Arsenal, which is good. And, winning at halftime against City. I mean, if City had have ended up losing that, as you're a City fan, it would have been catastrophic, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we got lucky a little bit. We didn't create that many chances. Thankfully, and again, I'm a big Grealish fan. If you let him do what he wants to do, he's the type of player you say, look, I'm not giving you any instructions. Just get out there and play your game.
Alia
you
says,
can't get the ball off him.
Alia says, what about Anthony? He reminds me of prime Arjen Robben. You know what I'm going to say, Alia, is you probably didn't watch Arjen Robben, man, if you're saying that, because he is nowhere near him. The only thing that's similar to him is they both have only got a left foot. But the thing was, I watched thing with Rio Ferdinand talking about Robben and Patrice Evra, and they go, yeah, we knew he was going to go on his left foot. He goes, but the problem with him was, he goes, you couldn't stop it. With Anthony, you can stop it because he doesn't do it at pace. Alia says, I'm messing around. The problem is, you know what he does, Rob? I played on the wing a lot. When he cuts in, he almost comes to a complete stop. And that's his problem, because he comes to a stop and then has to go again. Whereas Arjen Robben, Messi, they will touch, and slow down, but keep going at pace so they can get past you. He stops. And the minute you stop and you've got the ball at your feet, you're not going to be able to get past anyone, really. That's because you're stationary. And he does that.
And as a defender, we were watching this. It's hard to explain, but you watch the second to last touch, and that normally tells you what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And if he slows down, bang, you're in.
Exactly. So like when I was always dribbling, there's all different types of dribblers, obviously, but I was very much a dribbler of, I like a defender to make a move so I can beat him.
Yeah.
And I was always like that. Because that way I know the minute a defender bites, I'll beat him. That's me personally. And if he doesn't bite and I have to make the move to beat him, it's a lot harder for me, and that's just logical. If they just jockey and make me make the decision, I've got to make a decision. Whereas if they bite at me, they make my decision for me. I can go left, I can go right, I can play a 1-2. But he doesn't do any of that. He doesn't look for any of that, Rob. He doesn't look for any of that, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Unless you're Kieran Trippier, he was trying to jockey on.
Oh no, that was funny, wasn't it? That was funny.
I was on the floor with laughter for that one.
Oh yeah, it was funny. But you know what I mean? Like, as an attacker, it's if I have to make the decision, not saying I can't get past you, but it's harder. Whereas if you make the decision for me, like if you dive in, I know I'm going to beat you for pace or whatever. I'm gone, So you have to respect his work rate, Alia says. But, in saying that, Alia, the thing I say is work rate, when you're not even a professional at that level, should be mandatory. That shouldn't be in question. We should never be saying, but he works hard, because they should all work hard. They're professionals and they're getting paid to do what they love. So they should all be working hard. That's how I look at it personally. But yeah, I get it. He does work hard, but
it's what you do with it. No, and the results showed it's what you do with the ball.
That's right. That's right. But that's go. Keep going.
I was saying Mourinho was the master at that, and all those clubs that I mentioned, Man United, Villa, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham. Who won? One of them won with 25% possession. I think it was West Ham.
It could have been West Ham against Tottenham. I'd say it would have been 100%. Would have been See, Ali's saying true. Yeah.
So it's what you do with the ball. Let them run around and stuff, fluff about and look good.
Well, we always bring it back to that game. I can't remember what year exactly now, but the Inter Milan Barcelona Champions League final, was it
Oh, yeah.
2010 maybe or something, where Mourinho had 19% possession and dominated the game. Like, they killed Barcelona. So
Against 8 Spanish internationals that play
exactly,
together.
and you know, and Lionel Messi. So, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like you said, it's 100% what you do with it. But in saying that's all the results, I believe. I'll bring them up again, just go through them. I'm sorry, that's the fixtures, the results here. Oh, the other team we didn't talk about, sorry, is Brighton. Brighton beat Brentford, and then they draw to Burnley. So Burnley, you know, they got a huge result, and then they lost, and then they got a draw. So they've had a few results in there. Brighton, man, I think the Europe thing, I think you might be right with Brighton. They look a bit...
Just it's tough, man. It's just, and this month, this will be a really telling month. I'm expecting Newcastle, Brighton, West Ham, and I was expecting Villa as well, just to drop 2 or 3 places.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think Emery's gonna get that Conference League, and he wants to get into Europa as a minimum.
Yeah.
And with a trophy, they're gonna. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the way that they're looking at the moment, because they're looking so good, their owners already let him spend. I'm sure they'll let him spend just to freshen up the squad a bit in January, just to add a few numbers, you know, just because if they think, oh, wait a second, we could win our first league title in God knows how long. I think the last time they won our cup was in the 80s when they won the European Cup.
Yes.
If they can win their first title since then, almost like 40 years, let's say, man, I think they might let him spend. So, you know, maybe not for you, but for me. Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, maybe not for you, but for me, I've got a team to root for in the title race now. So
that's this one. That's this one, man. I waited 44 years for this one.
But the thing is, it's like my dad has talked about it. When he first started supporting United, you know, they were winning, and then he didn't see them win a title for 26 years. Like the Liverpool fans, they didn't see them win a title for 30 years. You know, United haven't won a title now for 11 years. So it can go like that, you know. It feels like yesterday we used to sit there and talk, and you know, United were dominating everything. It's just how it goes. So didn't Milan win on a 10-year streak? I think that was unheard of.
Yeah,
you know, they won the title not last year, the year before, and that was the first title in close to 15 years, and that was for a team that you'd never would have thought that would have happened. You know, like so, or a club you never would have thought that would happen, I should say, but. There you go. In saying that, we can look at the fixtures a bit.
Look at this Villa with Steven Gerrard, Villa with Emery. Come on.
Oh, they were in relegation with Gerrard.
Basically the same squad, man.
Same team. Yeah, I know. I got to go. See you, gents. Great pod. Take it easy, Alia. Take it easy, mate.
Thank you. See ya.
All right. So the fixtures, we'll talk about them just a little bit. We started off Spurs going to the City Ground against Nottingham Forest. What's going on there, Rob? Are Spurs back? I put it in the poll there. Have they turned the corner? Are they back? I personally think they'll go to Forest and win. Personally, I
think they'll go to Forest and win as well. Yep. Absolutely. And Richarlison got his first goals for Spurs with his feet.
Hey, good on him. You know what I mean? Ange put him in centrally. He moved Son out left, and it worked. You know, I was saying about when Man City played Tottenham, I was saying it to Chris, you know, they're all going on about how quick Doku is. When Son scored that goal and Doku was chasing him, Son absolutely burnt him. And then, like you said, he turned Trippier inside out the other night. That guy, I think he walks into any team in the league. He's so good. It's crazy. He is such a good player. He can play anywhere in the front three. Doesn't complain, you know, like I always say it to John, they're like, oh, Rashford plays better off the left. And I'm like, man, if you can play on the left, you can play on the right because it's the same thing.
He got greedy. He should have squared the ball. It would have scored.
Yeah, I agree. One. Yeah, I agree.
You bloody forwards, you lose your head sometimes.
You got to be greedy to be a forward. You got to be greedy.
But you know
what I mean? Like I always say it to John, Rob. I'm like, listen, if you can play on the right wing, you can play on the left wing. You might not be able to play up front. You might not be able to play up front because that is a bit different. But if you can play on one wing, you can play on the other wing. And Son, he plays right, left, centrally, even attacking mid. He could do it all, I think. So, yeah, he's a great player. I think they go there and win. I agree. What's your scoreline for that?
4-1.
You know what? I think they may concede because they got the injuries at the back as well. And I'm gonna say 3-1. I think you could be right. 3-4-1. I think it's.
And it's funny. I saw the injury list, and Eric Dyer's injured, and I'm thinking, Andrew's thinking, yeah, great.
Yeah, just celebrate. Listen, once he got Romero back, which is big for him.
Yeah.
When he gets the Dutchman back, I think that's huge for him. And the Madison one, I think he's dealing with it a bit because they're still scoring. It's not that hasn't really hurt them. They're still, So I think they go there and win. Then on to the next later on that night, which here will be 1:30 in the morning. We got Bournemouth at home to Luton. And you know what? The way Bournemouth are playing, I feel sorry for Luton. They had to play Arsenal, City, and they got to go to Bournemouth, who are in great form as well. So,
that's going to be a good game.
I'm going to tip Bournemouth personally, and I think it might be 2-1. 2-1, I reckon.
Oh, gee, that's a tough one to call.
It is, man. I think that's a real good game. You never would call that, say it's one of the games of the round, would you? But it is. It's such a good game.
I'm going to go the other way and go Luton 2-1.
Oh, that'd be great. You know what? If they get that, it'd be a great result for them. I'd be so happy for them. But yeah, all right. 2-1, Rob said there. So Chelsea, Sheffield United. At home, Chelsea just come off 2 losses. They have to win, don't they? They have to win.
Poch is he can see the axe in the horizon,
John asked me a question today, so I'll ask you. And my response to this was whether they like it or not. This was my answer. John said to me, he goes, why is Poch not under as much pressure as Ten Hag? And I said, solely because whether they like it or not, I said Chelsea is not as big a club as Man United. That's my answer to that. And that's what I believe. It's just there's not as much hype around them as you know what United is. Just it's that's Man United.
Because Chelsea spent more money,
of course,
right? And they're not even close. They're 10th for heaven's sake.
The thing is, they bought Fofana at the back. They bought Badiashile. They bought Disasi.
Casiano.
They bought, but that, I'm just talking about centre backs. They bought 4 centre backs, and they still can't defend.
Yeah,
Casido in the midfield, Enzo Fernandez, Lavia. We haven't even seen yet from Southampton. Man, surely you get a good team out of that. It's unbelievable.
And they let João Felix go, and they got Mudryk in.
I don't think he's not picking him correctly. I don't think. Then
I
again, I think Nkuku's back this week, which could help them. That could be a big in for them. But man, you think he's gonna? It's funny saying that you think he's gonna want to spend in January, considering how much they spent. But I guarantee you, he spends in January.
Talk about a bad investment, eh? Oh. No return on those,
mate. The thing is, the point, the leeway I give him a bit is he didn't purchase all these players.
No.
Some of them got bought in before him for Potter. Potter bought Cucurella, things like that in. Potter had bought in Enzo. He didn't bring in Enzo. So I get it. You need to make your team as a manager. So, but he definitely is under pressure. It's just that bigger clubs, like we're saying, Man United they're under pressure as well, which is masking a bit of Pochettino's pressure, I think. But yeah, he's definitely. You can definitely see the axe. I think you're right, but I think they'll beat Sheffield United. I think they have to. I think they have to.
I think they will, and I'm going to go just something very boring like 2-0.
Yeah, you know the thing is when they lost to United before they played us, I tipped United, and my exact reason I tipped United against Chelsea is because I said to John, I go Chelsea play shit against the shit teams, and I go and Man United. We're shit. I go, they played good against City. They played good against Tottenham. They seem to play good against the teams that want a possession in that. So, Sheffield United might get something. Because I did say that. They played shit against the shit teams. And
Bournemouth beat it, didn't they? Bournemouth or Brentford?
Yeah, I reckon Brentford have won more times at Stamford Bridge this year than Chelsea have. They said they've won more because they've won twice there and Chelsea haven't. So, which is crazy. But yeah, I know. Yeah, I agree. I think 2-0.
Wow.
But that takes us on to your boys, Rob. At the Etihad, they got Palace. What goes on there?
It all depends. It all depends who Pep chooses.
Well, surely he's going to rest people during the week, isn't he? Because they're first, aren't they, in Europe? So
yes, and they can't be knocked down to second. So
he has to rest players.
I'd put in a second string team. But I don't know why he's not playing Phillips. He's had plenty of opportunity to actually play him, and sometimes you might be surprised.
Well, it'd be better than a centre back there, wouldn't he? Like, it's his position. So.
It was a mess.
Yeah,
total mess. I think City will win. I think it's going to be. It shows you just the importance of Rodri in defensive midfield. A good defensive midfielder like Casemiro just makes such a big difference. I'm thinking he might go crazy. You pick the right squad. I'm thinking they might actually score 4-5.
Yeah. You know what? I actually think City get back on it, and I think they might tune Crystal Palace up a little bit. I don't know what. I think that's just what they do, and I think if they don't do that, I think it might show that they're a bit vulnerable this year. But I think they might tune Crystal Palace up a bit. Listen, it might not be, but 3+. I think that they tune Palace up. I believe.
It all depends. All depends if he gets in Foden's ear. Whether he is Doku, I think, is still injured.
Yeah.
Alvarez had a chance to score, but Foden didn't want to let him.
Yeah.
Could have cut it back 6 yards out. He's got to play Grealish. He's got to play Rodri. I'd put Akanji and Diaz central defence.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It's funny, they've got to that point, haven't they, where no Rodri, no Man City a bit, isn't it?
A little bit. And the thing is, Eze is out to prove a point as well.
Yeah, and he's an attacking mid. He's a good player, isn't he, Eze? I like him. He's actually very, very good. Very direct.
He's a midfield warrior, and he will not let up for 90 minutes. Now, unless someone in the City midfield handle that, they could be in for a surprise.
Yeah,
but that's up to Pep. So
I agree. You know what I've always thought in that attacking midfield position, there's different types of attacking midfielders, obviously, but one of the hardest attacking midfielders to get a grasp of when you're an opposition team is one that grabs the ball and carries it. And Eze does that, and he's that type of attacking midfielder. He gets the ball and he carries it, and it's hard because the defensive midfielder doesn't know whether to tackle him. The centre back doesn't know. It's sort of confuses.
Correct. So this is what I've been saying. That these teams need to put this player back in there.
Yeah.
People like Phil Foden for that position.
Exactly.
I do too. Providing he sets people up and doesn't get rose-coloured glasses on.
That's why I think Grealish is so effective because he gets the ball and carries it. He might not get the stats, but he exactly.
Yeah, just can't get the bloody ball off him.
That's right.
And the pass he gave Alvarez just through the leg of one, just insane. He needs to play every week, and Pep needs to realise that.
Listen, he's a £100 million player at the end of the day, isn't he? Spent £100 million on him and won the treble with him. So, yeah.
So is Declan Rice, but Declan Rice can't defend for shit.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of praise, but I agree his defensive game needs help. He's getting praise because they're winning. Let's say he
couldn't judge the flight of the ball in the air. He cost Arsenal 2 goals in that 4-3 game. He almost
praised him. They praised him because he scored the winner. That's how it goes. That's how it goes, isn't it? But that takes us to the next one. Newcastle at home to Fulham. Rob, Newcastle have conceded 7 in 2 games, and they're playing a team that scored 10. I know it's at St. James Park, but that'd be the last team they want to play, isn't it?
After another European tough game.
Against Milan, exactly.
With injuries. Oh, gee, this is...
You know what? I'm going a Ruffy, eh? I'm going a Ruffy.
Let's go Fulham.
I think Fulham. I'm going a Ruffy. I'm going to say Fulham just Because how are Newcastle going to play that many games? They're going to that's going to be their 5th game in 15 days, maybe. Because let's say they played. When
Yes,
did they play? Yeah, that's
yeah,
because they played.
pretty
If I
much.
bring up the results. Their first one they played on the 8th of
That's almost
December.
that's almost 6 games in 15 days.
Because if you count the Man United one, that was midweek, right? So they played
Yeah,
the Man United one. Then 8th of December they played. I got it here. 8th of December they played Everton. 11th of December they play Spurs. So then
yeah,
what is it? 14th or something in a couple of days they'll play Milan, and
yeah.
then fixtures on the 17th they'll play Fulham. So that's 4 games in
And,
11 days. 11 days. So if you add in the Man United one, that's 5 games in 14 days. That's ridiculous. And they've got
yeah,
no squad.
yeah. So I can't blame Eddie Howe for this because he's
No, it's not his
no,
fault.
no. So and Fulham don't have to play midweek.
Exactly. They don't have to rotate anything. They play a game every 7 days.
They're focusing on the one team. They're going to watch more videos.
That's right. That's right. They got time to train. It's true. Very true. But yeah, I'll go roughy with Fulham. I reckon 2-1, I'm going to say. 2-1.
3-0.
3-0, there you go. This one I think is very interesting, man. Burnley at home to Everton. Everton bang in form.
Oh,
Burnley not so much in form. I mean, they've had a win and a draw. They've had a win, a draw, and a loss in the last 3 games, so they've tasted everything.
I can't see Everton keeping this up. I can't see it. I'm going to go Burnley.
Burnley?
Yep.
That's just because you're backing your old mate. You're backing Vincent, aren't you? That's what it is. Listen, I agree. Listen, I'm going to go with them just on form and the fact that they're actually scoring goals. They've scored a few goals. I'm going to say Everton may take it. I don't know, maybe 2-1, 2-1. Yeah, it is a close one. That takes us on to the next day. This, I think, is a big game at the Emirates. Arsenal-Brighton.
Who both play in Europe.
Both play in Europe. Brighton will get a day less because they're in Europa, so they'll play.
Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arsenal.
Brighton are not handling this well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arsenal might 2-0, I reckon.
I think Brighton will score.
There you
3-1.
go. 3-1. That takes us on. I think this is a real important game for Villa. Brentford at home to Villa. If Villa turn around after those 2 big results at home and win away at Brentford, which isn't an easy place to go, I think, they mean business. So I'm going to go with them because they're the team in form.
Yep.
And they're scoring goals. Got to go with them.
Yep.
Will Brentford score? I'm trying to think. Will Brentford score?
No.
I think Villa take them. 2-3-0, I reckon.
Yep. 2-0.
There you go. And then this is the last game before the biggest game. West Ham at home to Wolves, which is another, who knows with these teams.
I'm going to go against the grain. Go the mighty Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Wolves are going to get it done away. You know what? I think it'll be a real tight game. I think if West Ham score early, they'll get on top and beat them. But if the longer it goes on, Wolves are a hard team to beat. I'm going to go draw. It's the first draw I'm going to pick. Score draw. I can score draw.
I just think West Ham will just tired already.
Yeah, well, they got Europe as well, so.
Yeah.
Now, that takes us to the big one. Liverpool, Man United at Anfield. Liverpool do have a day less rest because they're in Europa. But, listen, I never go against my team, so I'm not going to go against them. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go with my heart and say Man United are going to get something out of this. I don't know what, but
hope so. And look, Man United will lift because it's Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's what we said last year. We get smashed.
Yeah,
I agree. They have to. I agree. They have. No, but I agree. They have to. You're a Man United player. You can't go into that game and. You can't go in and down tools. Regardless, you like the manager, whatever. You you have to go in. And to be fair, last year, I know we copped it about it. 5 of those goals don't go in on another day in that 7-0 win. You know, they were just every time they went forward, it went in. But they got to lift. And I think maybe Ten Hag got to know the selections. Something has to be done with that. You know, put Højlund in. He's
Højlund's a warrior, and GT23 is tipping Liverpool. What's the score, GT?
He always tips Liverpool. He always tips Liverpool. Chris says the 20.
Don't say 7-0, man.
No, don't say that. Chris says the 24-inch pizza challenge that he did the other night will be out soon. He did it on the same. He did it on the same night that I did the bacon deluxe. So that's why
Texan.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't in the review with me, because he was in the corner prepping for his challenge. So that will be coming out soon, guys. The challenge of the big man. I tell you what, it's interesting. Great viewing, guys. You get to GT's laughing because he puts 7-0 and then laughs. But in saying that, we've gone over the 2 weeks. We've looked at the fixtures. What is Rob's red card of the week? I'll bring up the graphic. Does Rob have one? I'll bring up the graphic. Here we go.
He has one.
There's Rob's red card. What's Rob's red card of the week?
Listen, you had years and years of training, years and years of learning your craft. You do not put 4 steps in starting 11. You're an idiot. Every time you start listening, learning the real stuff, it's gone, mate. You've had enough. You're right. The club anymore.
Chris says, I love Rob's red card segment, but I reckon Rob started cutting out during his red card segment.
Oh, really? Oh.
I reckon Rob started cutting out. GT says, oh no, it's breaking up. He'll give it. He's back. Chris said that made it even wilder. GT says, take two. Listen, guys, we do apologize. The weather has been shocking where we are. There's internet lines down everywhere. Like we said at the start of the video, it's
quickly around Europe, the league, Italy, Leverkusen in Germany, Girona in Spain. They beat Barcelona on the weekend. As I said before, Bayern Munich lost 5-1 to
Xabi Alonso's in charge of Leverkusen, I believe, and he's got them playing absolutely great football. I'm told so.
Yeah. PSV in Holland. Ajax under Van Schip have gone from 16th to 5th.
Well, they had to do something, didn't they? They had to
just
do something.
Incredible. And PSG are on top in France.
Yep.
Just one thing I want to mention for the Premier League, these players, these African players and these Asian players, they're not going to be around in January, Chris.
Yeah. So
does that mean in the house?
At Tottenham, Zakao, how you doing? Are Tottenham going to lose maybe Son, Sarr? Who else? That's big. Losing Son is going to be big for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that one, just that name in general, losing Son for that Asian Cup, that's huge. And like Man United, we're losing Onana, which is huge. Man City. Who Man City going to lose anyone? They don't have. They used to lose Mahrez. They don't have Mahrez anymore. Do they have anyone? Maybe they don't anymore. Don't think you do. No. Liverpool though. Liverpool lose Salah. Liverpool lose Salah. Endo and Salah. Yeah. Trying to think. Arsenal. Arsenal will lose Partey, but he's not even playing, so that doesn't really matter.
Tomiyasu.
Yeah, Tomiyasu, but I think they'll cover that. I think, Man United losing their first choice keeper, Tottenham losing their captain is big, and Liverpool losing their best player, their best, their
200 goals for Liverpool, yep.
Listen, that's a great effort. Like him, hate him, whatever. 200 goals for a club, especially a club the size of Liverpool, is a huge effort. So, yeah, like I said, United losing their first choice keeper, Tottenham losing their best player, and Liverpool losing their best player. That's big, isn't it?
It is. And the only other thing, the issue is some of the smaller clubs have got a few Africans
They
and
would.
a
Yeah, they
few
would.
Asians,
I think
they're
Nottingham
going to
Forest
be,
have got the African guy up front that's going to hurt them.
and without the squad depth, they could be in trouble.
Yeah.
So we'll see
GT
what happens.
says, GT said, who hates Salah? I said, love him or hate him. I said, I don't like him because he's a Liverpool player. So I don't like him at
Liverpool,
all.
Liverpool should be selling him now and cashing in GT. Then they could buy
You know
three
what?
players.
I tell you what, if someone came in at the end of the year for 100 mil again, mate, 31, 32, you'd think about it. I know he's a legend. Yeah. Christian KP, try the new red velvet choc lava cake. Oh my God. Red velvet choc lava cake. There you go.
On a pizza base, there's no such thing as dessert on a pizza base.
I think it's just a chocolate cake that they have there. The moment says, good evening, guys. Mixed bag of results for a lot of clubs. Squad depth is everything in December. Well, Rob touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
And I said, I believe that's, hello, first of all, the moment, but I believe that's really what's hurting Newcastle because they've got so many injuries. They lost Tonali to suspension. Yeah.
That's how you get these people. Oh, hang on. Let me move the other one. Here we go. That's how you get these. That's how you get these.
What? I don't know, man. Man United have got squad depth. It's just their squad shit. So. But yeah, in saying that, thanks for popping up. Either moment, Zakal, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Sorry you come in late, but yeah, we came on a bit early tonight. But we will definitely be back next week. I don't know if there'll be any watch-alongs or anything, but any final thoughts, Rob? What's happening? Who's going to be on top as of next week? Will Liverpool stay up there? Arsenal? What's going on?
No, I reckon Liverpool are going to be there on top.
Yep, I agree.
Next week, but I reckon there's going to be some changes in the middle. A few more changes.
Yep, I agree.
We're going to get some more upsets. It's up to you to pick them.
See that, GT? Rob said Liverpool's going to be on top, so he's saying they're going to beat Man United to make you happy. Yeah, listen, I think it's huge. It was a huge week, like either moment said. Aston Villa, I think, is team of the week, I reckon, beating City and Arsenal, both at Villa Park. But yeah, great results. But thanks everyone for coming in. Thanks, Rob. We'll see you next week, guys.
See ya.